The Toronto Maple Leafs just sent a serious message as they come out winning yet another game, taking care of business against the Florida Panthers in what had a playoff atmosphere despite the Panthers missing a lot of their key players. Going to break down the game and discuss what this means going forward as the Leafs are now several points ahead and atop of the Atlantic Division. But there is some scary sights. Jake McCabe left late in the game with an injury. David Kampf left with an injury as well. A lot of injuries going on there. Brandon Carlo as well dealing something with his hand. So a lot of things to go over. A little bit scary on that front, but Darius, a huge Leafs win, the biggest win of the season, and second night of a back-to-back for the Panthers. They're missing Barakov, they're missing a bunch of guys, but regardless, they come out, they were the better team tonight. They win on the back of Anthony Stolarz, Mitch Marner's best game as well in a while, so Leafs get the job done, and now he's got to hold our breath surrounding Jake McCabe.
Yeah, don't care who's out of the lineup for the Panthers. Big win for the Leafs, and that's all that matters. And now you're in sole possession there of first place in the Atlantic. That's where you want to finish. And big win. And I was thinking, halfway through the game, Nick, like I was hoping that the first line would have came to play tonight because of guys like Barkov being out. You have Matthew Tkachuk out, Aaron Ekblad's out. So the matchup game is a little bit easier. I know it's regular season, but I was kind of hoping for that a little bit. And then there you go. Third period, they played really well. You get 2 goals out of them. And honestly, like Mitch Marner in the clutch again, he does it. Matthew Knies, great goal and a great pass from Mitch Marner as well. But first line got it going, and I love that. So big win for the Leafs. They stay ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning at this point, which is not something I was expecting. But Florida hasn't been playing great. I would love for them to end up playing the Lightning in the first round as not the second seed. That would be best case scenario, I think, for the Leafs heading into the playoffs. But obviously, you'd have to get past the Ottawa Senators first if you're the Leafs. But that would be a great playoff matchup. And again, I think this was a game that the Leafs had not every excuse to lose, but in the past they've lost games like this where other teams are missing their best players. And I'd like to think if the Leafs are missing their best players too, that it wouldn't be a blowout or anything like that. I think with the structure that they've built, other teams like Florida, they're so structured and so detailed that even if they're missing guys, the rest of the team kind of they played their game. So I think it was a big win against a team that is pretty good and it's going to be a formidable opponent for anyone in the playoffs. So stay ahead of the Atlantic there, and it's a big win. And then heading into Saturday, playing Columbus, you could play spoiler. You can go up even further in the playoffs, the standings, and obviously you still play the Panthers and the Lightning one more time. So this was a big win. This was a good win. It was a good night.
Leafs off now for 3 days. They're back or 2 days. I guess technically they're back at it on Saturday, like you mentioned there. So it is an interesting. What's up, Eric, Daniel, everybody in here, Prophet, Jim as well. It was a big one. And again, I'm going to hold my breath. Hopefully we'll hear from Craig Berube about Jake McCabe here shortly. But it was I think he's fine. I think it was the ref that looked like it was potentially more injured.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah.
And then, of course, he left late in the game. I think he should be fine. I don't think he's a pretty tough guy. At least it wasn't a serious injury because he obviously immediately played after. OEL banged up a little bit. David Kampf banged up a little bit. It's that time of year. Florida, of course, had their guys out. I mean, honestly, Sergei Bobrovsky had a fantastic game. They could have easily been up a lot more against many of the other goalies. And with that, the Leafs officially clinched a playoff spot for the 9th straight season, 9th consecutive season there. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. We knew they were going to make the playoffs. They're now 3 points ahead of the following teams, of course, in the second and third spot regarding the first in the Atlantic. Eric coming in with the membership. Let's hope that Ottawa doesn't pass the Panthers. That would be...
This division is insane this year.
Yeah, that's a good point too, actually, man. Yeah. It is the craziest. And the regular season we're talking about, I mean, hey, look at the division. Ottawa is, they're still a hefty 8 points
Panthers
behind.
are selling. They're selling.
They're playing very bad hockey.
Mathematically, it's possible, but I don't think it happens. We'll see.
I don't think it happens.
But I was looking at the lineups, and I think Tampa is still a pretty good matchup. But at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see. Anything can happen with the way that the standings are right now. But Ottawa would be a good battle too. They don't have too many guys that have playoff experience, honestly. And they're a younger team. I would be a little bit afraid of Matthew Tkachuk, but I think the Leafs, I was thinking about it today, like the way the defense is built, I think a lot of people underrate OEL. Like I thought he had a good game again today, and he's been playing well all season. Every single player has stinkers sometimes, including OEL, including Austin Matthews, who I want to touch on as well. But he's been really good. I think they built up their defense pretty well here. And Anthony Stolarz, haven't touched on him yet. He was fantastic. You're a big Stolarz guy, have been since the beginning, so I got to give you credit there. But he's the game one starter. That this solidified it for me. I mean, we've been talking about it, but that's that at this point.
I mean, he is the game one starter. I saw some people in the comment section saying that we're about how it's even a question. Believe me, I'm all in on Stolarz being a game one starter, and I do ultimately think it's going to be Stolarz. I'm not even sure it's a question at this point. He's going to probably, I would say, Wall goes Saturday, and then I mean, you have to put Stolarz against both the Lightning and the Panthers. I think at this point, I mean, without Stolarz tonight, they probably lose that game. A lot of high danger opportunities. Wasn't the best game on the Leafs side. Like, obviously, you're going up against a Panthers team the second night of a back-to-back. We do have the impact scorecard, which I'm going to get here as well. I'm very curious to see if any of you can guess it, because I can probably guarantee you won't.
I haven't seen it. I won't. So it's off the wall a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. At least the top guy. Very
Okay.
interesting. As Blake comes in with a 6.99. I think he went out because they were tired, so they said just make an excuse they might be injured. Honestly, I would not doubt that at all, because
that's a good point.
He did look a little injured, or a little tired. So yeah, Blake, it's a good call as well. I don't think if he was even considered to be injured, he would have went back out there anyway, and he was playing fine. He was also gassed. He had multiple high minute shifts approaching 2 minutes. Also, if you're in here, hit the like button. We're going to be going all regulars. I mean, we are live after every regular season game. The playoffs are happening now. I believe it's April 19th and the 21st, so the Saturday and the Monday. So mark your calendars, mark your schedules, do all of that, because it is going to be a crazy one. But let's see if you guys can guess the impact scorecard. Leave it in the chat, and Darius as well. The top three also.
You have me thinking now.
Thank you again, Eric, for member. If you guys want to become a member, you get access to a bunch of new emails, a bunch of new perks as well. We're going to have a members only group chat coming soon as well here. A bunch of new perks coming with the membership. So if you guys want to become a member, feel free to do so. All right.
I want to say top spot. I'm going to guess top three in no particular order, I guess, but for some reason I feel like it's Tavares. And then I'm going to go Marner and Morgan Riley.
Okay. That is you got 2 out of the 3. You got 2 out of the 3.
I wonder who is not on there.
However, before we let you guess again, we have Paul coming in with the 10. Paul, your guys' support has been unbelievable today. Thank you so much, Paul. This was a test to see if Stolarz will be a playoff starter. I think we have our answer now, Paul. I 100% agree. Thank you for the donation. I think we all kind of agree with that. And Blake, thank you again. I'll throw the super chat up for you. Goodness me, everybody is crushing it with the super chats today. Jim with the 20. Huge statement game. Florida's stumbling and Leafs pounce. So pleased with their performance of the team. And, man, team win. Fantastic team win. Your guys' support has been unbelievable in this stream. It's electric. Right in playoff time. That's when the energy really starts to pick up. Daniel, you'd be surprised. I'll let you guys guess one more time. Darius, you had 2 out of the 3 of those guys.
Was Morgan Riley the one that wasn't there?
I won't answer that. I'm going to give you one more guess. I'm going to give you one more guess for your top 3. See if you can get it right. You had, who did you say? Morgan Riley, John Tavares, and
John Tavares and Mitch Marner.
2 out of those 3.
I'm going to go with
say new 3.
Interesting one. I'm going to go with Mitch Marner.
Okay.
Mitch Marner, John Tavares, and...
Okay, he's off. You almost had it. We're going to go through here. It is Morgan Riley
right?
1, Matthew Knies 2, with Mitch Marner 3. So, Morgan...
Good for Morgan Riley.
Yep.
Good for Morgan Riley.
The game there. The bottom, OEL, Benoit, Carlo. I thought they played fine. Yep. Jim, thank you again. And Jim with the call with Matthew Knies. You are correct. Matthew Knies was 2. Mitch Marner, Matthews, Tanev with a fantastic game. Really got to hope McCabe's okay. I think he's fine. If we hear nothing after the game, I'd assume then it was just...
I mean, they'll probably say something. But there was a comment a little bit earlier from Canucks Digest if Mitch Marner is my favorite player. Not on the Leafs. Not currently. I will say that. There was also another comment. Forgive me, I don't know who it was from, but who would you rather play in the playoffs? This is from Scott Thompson. Nick and Darius, who would you rather play in the playoffs? The Senators, the Rangers, the Blue Jackets, or the Canadiens?
The Blue Jackets.
I'm going to go with the Rangers. I think that'd be fun.
There is some stuff coming out about Tanev here, or about McCabe, and I'm going to get a clip going. He did leave, and he did, not in the original injury, but he got hit again, which is very concerning.
Carlo also blocked a shot at the end and didn't look great. So I'm hoping that these guys are all okay.
Not to kill the vibe, but that's the big worry here is the playoffs. Realistically, these guys are playing in the playoffs unless they're completely cooked. I think they'll be fine.
Some of these guys play through things you couldn't imagine in the first round. Like
they'll be fine.
So I'm sure most of them are going to be playing. I just wonder if they take if they're banged up here, if they take a few games, and obviously you're in the middle of a race, right? So that could be
I think
something to
Carlos
look at. But
probably good.
yeah,
Oof.
can we discuss John Tavares again on stream? Because in year 7 of this contract, I don't think anybody thought that he'd be worth this amount of money,
Yeah.
and he's still worth the contract that he signed to. It's absolutely insane. He is unreal, and not just like the goal score. He has 15 goals in his last 20 games, by the way, which is absurd. Like absolutely insane.
What's up, Johnny?
And putting in that work, and it's just the battle, the compete level. Like there's a couple of times tonight, he throws the puck to the area, he goes in, he battles, he gets it, he wins the battle, he pushes it to somebody else. Like he's just playing right. I just love that, and couldn't come at a better time. And he's continuing to lead the way. And I know a lot of people make things like that. And I know the whole thing with Mitch Marner too, like they play their best in their contract years. And of course, he's playing for a contract. We know that. But he's been pretty steady the whole time. Like last year was maybe an outlier, right? But he's been pretty steady the entire time. So pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It is very interesting. I am refreshing as well.
Lots going on.
I'm gonna throw a clip in here, and let's hope we can do our thing. So I'm gonna throw a clip. All right, I'm gonna throw a clip. No idea what that means, but I'm gonna throw a clip. All right, so do some things here. Zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit blurry, but keep an eye on the top of your screen. This is what's going around here. Keep an eye on the top of your screen. Top right. Boom.
Is that McCabe there in the corner? Yeah,
it is.
He takes that bump. Yep.
So he does get leveled into the board.
The ref's taking him out, and that's a hit from behind too,
Yeah,
actually.
cross check as well. So
yeah,
that might be why he went, because he went to the locker room right after that, which is not ideal, because that would be, I mean, I don't know what kind, I want to speculate what kind of injury that would be.
Right.
But doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. I hope he'll be fine.
Player. Who hit him there?
Look
like 63. I don't know. I look like 63.
We can go back and look.
But
23.
I think it's for Haggy. Yeah, that is boarding, perhaps. But anyway,
one more time for everybody.
Late in the game, can't call that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a
shoulder.
Tough play.
Maybe
he got up, but hopefully he's okay. Maybe it's just one of those things where he's like, I'm a little banged up. I'm just gonna leave. Like,
yeah,
the game was over, and he did have he had a couple shifts in the third there. They were like, he had one that was 2 minutes. So
yeah, it is. A lot. I hope Craig Berube, we should hear at some point. I don't want to speculate. We're just gonna hope he's good. No. If not ideal, because I mean the playoffs are, you have lots of time anyway. Like, it realistically, they shouldn't miss playoff games unless it's a severe injury. No. 3 weeks until the 2 weeks, 3 weeks till the playoffs. So
2.5 weeks. Brandon Carlo tonight, wanted to bring this up as well. Played 18 minutes tonight, which is nothing crazy, but still a lot. 63%, almost 64%, 5-on-5 expected goals percentage. Pretty good with Morgan Riley, considering the season Morgan Riley's had. So, and then Morgan Riley had a great game today. He also blocked 3 shots. So Brandon Carlo, we talked about in a video earlier, could be a bit of a difference maker as they continue to gel. So don't mind that pickup whatsoever.
And it's interesting because it's
pretty good.
Different from the impact scorecard, which always doesn't always paint the most the best picture. But again, it usually, it's interesting. Shout out to them for getting that up fast, because that is some quick turnaround time on the quick turnaround time on that. Which again, it is very interesting. Again, in case you missed the game, Matthew Knies goal and assist. You had Mitch Marner, Stolarz was fantastic. John Tavares was fantastic. Even Willie was solid. Him and Bobby McMahon had a great play, which was, led to a breakaway, which kind of a breakaway, and then Leafs scored right after. So I feel like most Leafs fans are kind of just holding their breath right now about Jake McCabe. I'm
sure we're gonna get an update like any moment now, but let's have some good news, some good vibes. Some more on John Tavares here from Sportsnet Stats. Since the Four Nations face-off, roughly 20 games-ish, let's say. I don't know the exact amount of games, but roughly 20 games since Four Nations. He has 15 goals. He has 25 points. His even strength goals are 11, so he only has 4 power play goals, which is still pretty impressive considering the Leafs power play was horrible heading into Four Nations. And shooting. Do we have an update?
Jim with 20.
Whoa, 20 members. Let's go, Jim.
Jim, holy. If you got gifted a member, I was just mentioning about a bunch of new perks that are coming. If you got gifted a membership by Jim, thank him in the chat. Too many names to even read off. Jim. Whew. The vibes are high. We'll get you in for the call in a moment. The vibes
Welcome
are
in.
high. Holy, let me
welcome in all new members, and thank you, Jim. And if you're in here
crazy.
right now, thank Jim. Thank you, Jim. Absolutely unbelievable.
I'm struggling to find the super chat thing. Jim, he was good, Josh. Jim, thank you for the 20. Man, oh man. Huge. The Leafs are rolling. And of course, Jim is rolling. Jim, thank you so much for the 20 gifted members. Much appreciated. Wow. If you got, Jim is the man. That is
speechless here. The chat's going crazy. I'm gonna let the crowd take this away.
Unbelievable. I'm still trying to find it. This is crazy.
I'm gonna let this moment breathe.
Jim, I'm still looking for the super chat animation, and I'm struggling heavily.
Oh, Jim, that's fantastic. Thank you. Your support has been unbelievable all season. I'm so excited for the playoffs. Like, I think everyone's just the playoffs are right around the corner, man. Everyone's excited. Leafs hockey.
I'm just a little bit nervous about the injury, but I'll play the
optimistic, Nick. We're going optimistic.
Took me so long. Found it though. Jim, thank you for the 20 gift. Should we get a Jim emoji? We will. That'll be on the agenda. A Jim emoji and a Jim
now,
super chat.
We unlock more perks with the channel as we get more members through YouTube. So we will be adding some more emojis.
Some playoff emotes if we hit some more milestones as well. So I don't know the exact number. Perhaps
with a blessing, a Jim emoji. that could be fun too. But we'll have some new stuff for the playoffs as well. That would be funny. Don't need the emoji. There you go. All right. You've spoken. It's all good. You've spoken.
Chase, Jake McCabe is the big guy we're worried about. Brandon Carlo, I think, and David Camp.
David Camp left the game with an upper body injury, did not return. So he's hurt. That's a thing. McCabe finished the game, kind of. And Brandon Carlo blocked a shot and kind of finished the game as well.
Shout out to Bruce. Bruce got a member as well. Jim, thank you so much. Your support has been crazy all season long. And shout out to everybody else in here as well. Crushing it.
I think, yes, what I was saying with Tavares, just to finish that as well, he's shooting 30% since the Four Nations face-off. 30. And the Leafs are 13-5-2.
Marner got the belt. Okay. We should probably get some info then from Craig Berube here shortly on the Jake McCabe injury. Whew.
Shout out Bruce for getting the membership and immediately using one of the emojis. Love to see it.
It's good use of it.
Love to see it. Great use of it as well. Marner gets the belt.
Yeah, that makes sense. Marner did get the belt. I mean, he had a good game. Yeah, he was very, very good, which, again, at the end of the day, whether or not you're a fan of him, whether or not you think he should stay, the Leafs should let him go, regardless of that, we have him for this playoff run over the next what's going to be a crazy few weeks. A wild Hakanpää appears. I was thinking about that during the game. If he goes down, probably.
I think they'd rather have Max Pacioretty play defense at this point. It'll be Hakanpää though.
Maybe Myers, but I think Pacioretty replaces David Camp if he goes down pretty seamlessly. Obviously, you move whoever else over. Pontus Holmberg to the 4C.
I actually think the salary. So if it's not long term, they would have to put one of them. Like if McCabe's hurt, you would have to go on LTIR for Hakanpää to play. So he'd be out till the playoffs, which is not ideal. Or you call up a Marley on an emergency basis.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine he'll be out long. Though David Camp, if he's out for a while, do you bring
David Camp makes way too much money. So
Patches up, get him some regular season reps before the playoffs, and then right in. It is very possible. When Johnny Toronto scores, really time it's a good night. Very true. I mean, it was that Knies goal. It kind of sucks because that Knies goal was like peak. Everyone, that was as hype as I've been all season for a goal, and then immediately went to the Jake McCabe injury, which wasn't actually a Jake McCabe injury. It was a ref injury, which then got turned into a power play, bit of a bad power play or bad penalty call, but it is what it is. Into a goal, into just clenching for the last, clenching our fists for the last little bit, hoping clenching. Marshall Rafai, interesting. Camp for injury is a far more concerning. McCabe was likely preventative. Camp is an under. I agree with that. Actually, Camp has been extremely good, and you look at it again. So hopefully they're both good. Luckily, this isn't like the last game of the season or anything. They have lots of time to come back and actually figure out all these injuries.
What they're gonna do, yeah.
But again, if there is a silver lining, we'll take silver linings with everything. You would be able to get patches in there.
I just took in the impact score chart for a second, by the way, and I was praising OEL earlier, and like nothing but negative impact tonight. but
Yeah.
but he's been pretty good all season, I do think. But yeah, I think that they have enough time. Again, McCabe, I think Jim, that's a good point. Like McCabe's looks preventative, right? Like maybe they're just holding him out in the last couple seconds just to make sure he doesn't get banged up anymore. Same with Carlo. I'm not concerned about that, but Camp missing an entire period with an upper body injury is concerning because now you're gonna have to put like Holmberg there, and then like the lines are all messed up, and I feel like we were on the verge of them like figuring out exactly what they wanted for the playoffs, minus Pacioretty. So we'll see. But I think Camp is the only reason I was saying earlier this season to trade him is because of how much money he makes. But they figured it out how to make it work, and I think he's really good at what he does. Like and maybe he'll chip in like we saw last week for a nice highlight reel goal once in a while, like once in a while. But really good on the PK, really good defensively. He's a good player. So I'm glad that he's that he stayed here, but hopefully he's not injured long term or anything like that. But we'll see if it's LTIR, maybe
Yeah.
Freddy and Hawkenpar are back.
No media tonight, apparently. So that would be unfortunate if that is.
See you guys tomorrow.
However, I think it was Sam Bennett who threw that hit, by the way.
How is there no media? You are the Toronto Maple Leafs. You just beat the Florida Panthers, and you have sole possession of first place, and there's no media availability tonight.
Maybe there is. Maybe they were just assuming.
I feel like things would have came out already.
I have it open. Yeah, sometimes they're slow. It's interesting. Let's
We'll see.
hit the like button if you're new. Let's try to get to 50 likes. We're at 26 at the very moment, so let's try to get to 50. Yeah, very interesting. Let's get Jim in here because Jim 20 gifted, incredible. And let's get Jim's thoughts and move on to hopefully what's going to be an exciting. I mean, it's a few days off. Kind of unfortunate actually. 2 days off. I'm kind of feeling the energy right now. Feeling the energy for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Next game is Saturday. Hockey night in Canada.
Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yes, sir. Jim, first of all, thank you very much for the support. 20 gifted and the $20. Full of 20s today. So thank you for that. Second of all, what a fantastic win. We're almost at the playoffs. I know you're excited. You've vocalized that. We're all excited. And the Leafs are now 3 points atop of the Atlantic Division. And it is a very tight race. And this was a huge win regardless of who the Panthers were missing.
Guys, I cannot tell you how pumped I am. This is the most excited I have been about a Leafs win since earlier in the year when the Leafs absolutely dominated over Vegas. And that was one of those statement games. And tonight is another one of those statement games. And yes, you're very welcome for the donations tonight, but that's because I'm so excited for this game. And the Leafs historically, we all know the history. They have these expectations where they come in, we think they're going to do one thing, and they always fail us. They always hurt us. They're like that girlfriend you can't let go of. You know you love her. You're always going to be there for her, but at the end of the day, you know she's going to crush your soul at the end, but you just can't let her go. That's the Leafs. That's the Leafs in my life. Well, I was single for a long time, gentlemen, and when I had some people used to always say to me, "Why do you cheer for the Leafs?" I'd say, "Well, it's an analogy about my dating life. I know it's going to go up in flames in the end, but I'm going to enjoy it for as long as it lasts, but not anymore." I think tonight was a statement game. The Leafs are putting down, saying, "You know what? We know the past. We've read it all. We've seen there. We've been it all. But you know what? Not anymore, boys. Wake up, league. We're a whole new Leafs team. Wake up and take a look at this new team because we are not the past. Do not judge us for the sins of this team's past. This is a new generation, a new outlook, and even the guys that are along for the ride are saying no more. We are putting our foot down. We got a new captain with our old captain playing like he was our old captain, and all the other guys are jumping on board. We're saying we got a new coach, new outlook. Let's go." I'm going to try my best not to swear because I'm so excited, boys. Gentlemen, I want to start this off with a question for you guys. One of my favorite radio shows here in Toronto. Nick, you may or may not be familiar with it, but it doesn't matter. They asked this question, and I'm going to ask, and I want a response from both of you guys. First thing off the top of your head. Statement is, it's only one game, but. So, Nick, I'd like to hear your thoughts first. Nick, it's only one game, but.
Yeah, we're doing that. You're putting me on the. I'm going to say that this was, even though it is only one game, I've been thinking about this. Obviously, still the regular season. I'm going to elaborate on the statement a little bit. I know it's probably not how the game's supposed to be played, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyways. I think the way that they played tonight, not even necessarily, even again, just one game, but not necessarily, I don't think they had the best game tonight, but the fact that they were able to actually pull it out despite realistically they didn't have their A game, I would say, especially with the Panthers being on the second night of back-to-back and being injured. But they were able to pull it out. Their bounce back was the big thing for me there, and their pushback, especially just with a game. And Sergei Bobrovsky was almost, there was a moment there where I thought they were going to steal it for the Panthers there, but their pushback in tonight's game is something I don't think they showed in previous season, especially under Sheldon Keefe.
I'll keep mine short and sweet. It's only one game, but it was a must-win game. Your top guys come to play, and you came back. You kept fighting. They were down, and they won the game. So I like that. It's only one game, but it was a must-win game, and you got the job done. And I don't care anymore how they win. I feel like there was this narrative years ago where it's like, oh, the Leafs have all this talent. They should be winning games. Every game 7-1. I'm sick of that. Just win the game. I just want to see the W. I don't even care what the score is anymore, especially in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. I just want to see the W. And I think some more times than not this season, they've just gotten the job done. And I think that's something to look forward to in the playoffs. But we will see what they do in the playoffs.
Also, quickly, Jim. Blake,
yeah, go. Yeah.
Blake donated $6.99. Does Ryan play in the playoffs? And where does Patrick go in the lineup? I say take out Holmberg and Hi, Jim. We'll dive into that in a minute. If I want to clean up mine, I would clean it up by saying it's only one game, but it was the biggest win of the season. I'll leave it. I'll leave that as my statement there. I'll clean myself up a little bit.
Is he talking about Ryan Reeves playing in the playoffs?
That's exactly what he means.
It's Darius.
Okay, Blake,
it's Darius's belief, you know.
I've got a comment on that. If I can go, guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I did happen. And this is this is not breaking news or anything. But
inside
I did
info, Jim.
Ryan, it is not inside. It is not inside info. So I did happen to see Ryan Reeves skating with the Marlies in the last 2 weeks, and just so you know, Blake, I know, and more. This is more so for Darius because I know him and I are both in the same camp. We are probably wanting to see that old school hockey that'll never show up again. But here's the thing: I did see Ryan Reeves skating with the Marlies, guys that are younger. Young guys that have less experience, guys that do not have any half of the hockey acumen that he has. Okay, and he still looked very old, very slow, and very not good at the thing he's there paid to be. So, my opinion, he could be in the lineup, but he will not be. He will definitely not be a positive addition if he is. Because the game is too fast for him. I've seen him play enough now where he wants to throw that big hit, but in order to do that, you have to skate fast enough to catch the guy. And I don't think, unless someone's skating, looking at their shoelaces, there's no way he's catching anybody anymore. The game is passing by, in my opinion. Well, although I'd love to see that side of the game, but it's died. It's a dinosaur, just like the guy talking, guys.
I agree.
He is too, yeah. It's passed him by, I think, at this point. Maybe last year there was an argument, but I think there would have to be a lot of injuries for him to see some time in the playoffs now. And I think it's okay, based on new information, to change your opinion sometimes. I don't think he's going to get into the playoffs. I like the way the Leafs are playing with the current makeup of the roster, and I feel like they do have some depth. And this morning, he played with the Marlies. They had a school day game. They played at 10 o'clock in the morning, and he played second line left wing for them, which is pretty crazy, but he was in the lineup. So wow. That's changed things for me. If he didn't report and he wasn't playing, I would think that, okay, maybe he's just sticking around with the Leafs. It was a paper transaction, but he actually got into the game. The other thing I thought was funny is it's mandatory to wear neck guards and visors in the AHL, which he doesn't wear either. And his visor, if you see some pictures from this morning, is not in front of his face. Not at all. It's in the sky. It's Leo Komarov-esque. So I thought that was pretty funny if anyone wants to look at some pictures from the game this morning.
Wow. Yeah, you know what, guys? On a day where the Leafs have surpassed and they've done everything in a small way, here's my take on it's only one game, but it's only one game, guys. But it's one game that, in my opinion, has set the course of a potential playoff that all Leafs Nation, including all my guys in the chat, the two of you sitting there, have been dreaming of for years. For me, like, I've been dreaming of this playoff, a deep playoff run. I've seen it twice in my life. Once in '93, again when they dropped in the Eastern Conference final to Carolina. I'm telling you, this team could potentially go deep, and I'm so excited. I see that Nick has just dropped some money. So, Nick, if you want to jump in here, go ahead.
I will do. Need to hire Jim as the Leafs Digest beat reporter. Jim?
Oh,
that would be inside info Jim coming at it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I felt like I'm a regular down there. I've literally been down to these Leaf properties probably 5 times in the last 4 years. I just happened to go down there when I had meetings and such, and both times I happened to catch something that had turned out to be significant. Although I will take full credit for the Patcher Ready drop, because if that actually comes back to fruition and he turns out to be a performer in the playoffs, then you can 100% credit me for that, guys. But I don't want any pay listening to you guys talk daily and getting updates from the Leafs. That's the only payment I need, because you guys are two of the best in the amateur side of the business, and I absolutely love everything you do. Guys, enough of stroking the two of you. I'm going to talk about something else now. Let's move on to my favorite player, which is Mr. Matthew Knies, and I'm going to call him Mr. Clutch Performer. He's been struggling in terms of his goal performance, but you guys, I've made no secret about how much I love this kid. I love his physicality. I love what he brings. I love everything that he does in his game. It is the high side that he can bring and the dangerous potential he has to be a shut down, in your face, old school power forward in the playoffs with an addition of skill. He's not just there to thug his way through. He should put fear in all of our competitors. And tonight, I think for the first time I've watched the Leafs play this version of the Florida Panthers, I think they got a really good insight into what this Leaf team can do when they're at their best. I understand that Florida's probably not their best right now, but that's not our problem. Our problem in the past has been the Leafs have not taken advantage of it. Tonight, they said, no, not tonight. They slammed the door shut on any chance of them coming back and winning us, and the Leafs did what they haven't done in the past. And I think I think that Matthew Knies was a huge part of that tonight. Thoughts, guys?
He's been unbelievable. And I think that we're starting to see his potential, only starting to. Like, I don't even think he's scratching the surface yet of what he can be. And everyone tends to forget because he came in so early, right? He came straight out of the NCAA and jumped into the playoffs. And people tend to forget that he's only, I think, 22 years old still. So he has a lot of time to kind of grow into the player that he's going to be. And I think that, use the term like an old school power forward. And I do think that's true, right? There's not too many guys like him in the NHL anymore. Like, I think of like Tom Wilson and maybe like a handful of others. But I think he's like a new school power forward where, when I think back to like the early 2000s, let's say a power forward, like maybe Milan Lucic, right? Like he was great. He would power his way to the net and he would score goals that way. But I think that Knies is like a new era power forward. I don't know how to describe it, where he has all the tools. He can do everything. He's quick, right? He's an absolute unit on the ice at like 240 pounds. So he's going to throw the body. He has over 150 hits on the season. He's scoring goals. He has almost 30 goals on the season. He's only 22 years old. He has a shot, right? He sees the ice well. Like, he has a lot of tools. It's not just like a couple things, he can use his speed and his body to get to the net, stuff like that. He has a bunch of things that he can use, and he's only going to get better. And I wish that he would shoot more, because we're seeing him score a lot of goals from, the front of the net and stuff like that. And obviously the breakaway tonight, but I think that he has an underrated shot too, and we don't really see it. I feel like he shies away from using it sometimes. So that's another thing that, like, I think that's going to come eventually too, where he's going to come in off the rush and maybe score some more goals, where we normally don't see that right now. So I feel like we're just scratching the surface with him, and that's pretty scary, because he can be a really good player, and I feel like he's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, his 26th goal of the year he scored tonight, and it turned out to be like the game-winning goal. Beautiful play, and I just think, like, in a time where I think Austin Matthews rather has taken, regardless of what the speculation is about the injury, and frankly, obviously, no one really knows. But he's obviously his killer shot just looks a little off. He needs a little more time to get it away, and that's kind of like what he was kind of known for. So why am I saying that? Because in his absence of being able to do one of the things that he's really known for, oddly enough, another player I'm going to talk about who I have ragged on inconsistently for years, but here he is our boy Mitch Marner. The last 5 or 6 games, he has stepped up his play. And one of my biggest knocks on Mitch Marner in the past has been he will go into a game and he looks like a child playing against men. He's shoved off the puck. He tends to turn away from hits, and he doesn't commit to the hard plays or go into the hard areas. Well, that wasn't the case tonight. You saw in our own end tonight, defensively, he was like giving second, third, and fourth efforts everyone on the for the Leafs anyways, everyone on that in that final minute or two were absolutely exhausted. You saw that even in that time, Marner's on his belly, doing a starfish, trying to get the puck in, and taking hits and absorbing play, and ended up getting an incredible goal that normally I think he would have been looking to a guy like Austin Matthews to put in. Full props, guys, to Marner in his elevation of his game. I'm excited to see if he can right some of his playoff wrongs from the past. And I realize he's in a contract year. I don't care about that. I want to get the most out of him right now, and because it solidifies two things. Sure, it's going to help him if he chooses to go somewhere else. It's also going to help the market here accept him for the player he is, and I'm one of those people. You show me a Mitch Marner that can perform in the playoff, I will show you a guy that deserves the contract that he thinks he deserves. Guys, thoughts?
He's doing a couple things now so I think the last time that the fan base universally loved him was like maybe 2019 before all the contract stuff. And he was getting in lanes, he was blocking shots. Everyone remembers that block shot in the last like 2 seconds of that game against the Bruins in the playoffs that year. He's doing more of those things. And I always use this as an example, but the Washington Capitals, everyone always said, eventually this team has to win the Stanley Cup. They're so good. But their game, and Ovechkin's game specifically, was so immature that they never went past the second round. They kept failing at the same, phase, right? Much like the Leafs in the first round. And finally, one year it just clicked. And, he was like, I got to change the way I play. And his game matured and he was playing the right way. And I've seen a little bit of that in Matthews and Marner this year. I still wish there was a little bit more from both of them, honestly. But I've seen a little bit of that, where even tonight, there's a couple times where, like you said, there's a lot of speculation about his injury, Austin Matthews, and whatever he's dealing with. But maybe the shot has kind of gone away, but he's doing other things. He's getting a lot more assists, right?
Absolutely.
We haven't seen that. He's playing really well defensively. He's not cheating the game, right? And there's a couple times tonight where the puck's along the boards or there's a free puck and he skates to it and the Panthers player is coming with him, and there's just something about him where it's like, I'm going to take this puck and you're not going to do anything about it. Like, I'm going to take it to the net or I'm going to make a play with it, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I love when he starts to play like that, and I've seen more of that this season, especially on the boards, and that's how you win in the playoffs, right? All the the 70 goals, that's all fun, but I'm seeing more stuff from him where it's sustainable in the playoffs. Same with Mitch Marner, like you said, a couple difficult plays tonight on the boards that he's making, whereas in the past maybe he bails out, or he hangs around the middle and he'll wait for the puck to come to him, but he's actually making those plays now. So I do want to see if it translates to the playoffs, but there's little things this season that I'm seeing that I think can, and I think that's why a lot of people are very excited.
Yeah, and I think too, like Darius, when you look at historically, like some of the players that have gotten over that Stanley Cup hump in the past, and not necessarily just with the Leafs. Like you look at the Penguins, they had their struggles after they even despite having Crosby, they went to a Cup final, lost, and then they came back and won. A lot of that, if you look at the maturity that it took Crosby getting there, losing, it took him to realize what it takes. Literally, everyone talks about that, but until you've walked in those shoes, you don't really know. And I think this is one of those years, even though we have not made it to this Cup final, obviously, where I think the leadership group of this team had said, you know what, we're looking around the room, especially with guys like John Tavares, who's absolutely killing it. Can we talk about him in a minute?
Yeah.
Absolutely killing it in a year that he's obviously up for a contract, but I don't think that's his concern. His concern is he sees the clock running out on his hockey career, and he wants to win a cup, and he wants to win one here in Toronto. So when that guy's given 110, the ultimate hockey cliche, but he is given 110%. How can the guys in that room look around in good conscience and think, oh my God, that guy is over 30 years old, is a veteran, is playing he absolutely is playing for pride. How can't I? And I think the gentlemen in the room that have the question marks, not so much Nylander, but definitely Matthews, Marner, have to take a long look in the mirror. I think they've done that, and they're going to move forward as a team. And I'm so pumped at what these guys are going to do in the playoffs. And I think finally the leadership group on this team is going to say no more, and they're going to stand up. They're going to play a physicality game, and they're not going to be turning away from checks. They'll absorb the check to make the play that gets us to yet another round. And guys, I'm so excited for this game. I'm pumped for this channel, and to everyone that's in there right now, that's a new member, everyone that's listening to my voice in there, you have found the best channel for Leafs on the YouTube, and I love these two guys. They're incredible at what they do. If you haven't already, think about becoming a member and subscribing to this channel, because these guys are two of the best. I have nothing to do with these guys other than I just found them like you did. Find out these guys are two of the best, absolute legends right here. And that's all for me, guys, unless you have anything else.
I will throw something in. The reason I had Darius speaking out there was listening to Craig Berube there behind the scenes and doing some interesting things regarding McCabe and Kemp. Craig Berube says that he has no injury updates. So that was he says he has no injury updates regarding Kemp and McCabe, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess it's very interesting that he has none on either of them, but he has no updates on them. A little bit scary. I hope they're good, but yeah, Jim. Also, thank you for all the kind words. Any thoughts on that before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly here, Nick. I'm going to speculate on that. So I'm going to say the Leafs aren't really good they aren't really known for giving any sort of injury updates, anyways. But I will say this: from what I saw of both of those injuries, I think that the one to McCabe is less worrying because I think it's probably concussion protocol, if that's what it is, because given his history that he's in. So there would be no update because that would take 24 to 36 hours. But the the Camp one, that one is concerning because he left the game, didn't come back. It was early on in the game, so I'm concerned about that, and you guys already talked about it, but I think it's very much that his contributions to this team are overlooked way too much. I understand the contract doesn't sit well with people, but if you look at what he does, his plus minus and his defensive responsibilities, that is tough to replace. I know it's probably not a popular comment because he's not flashy, but we have enough flashy that hasn't won. We need guys like him that will play a shutdown role, and they don't need the glory. And I think he does that very well in his role. And if he's out for a significant time, including the playoffs, as we saw tonight, it's difficult. It's difficult to replace that.
Yeah, and who cares about the salary at this point? They're trying to win a Stanley Cup this year, and no one's gonna really care about that if they go any amount of rounds. So it's a good point by you, Jim. Fantastic call as per usual. And we're getting closer and closer. April 19th is a tentative date on a Saturday. So book your calendar in. We'll be live following that game. It's going to be a crazy one. But for now, 3 points up on the Lightning, 4 points up on the Panthers. They have a 2-game lead and they have a 2-point or more lead on both of the teams. They play the Panthers once, they play the Lightning once. So bearing a collapse here, they have a pretty solid shot at winning the Atlantic. And no matter what anyone says, I'm standing by it. It might age like milk.
Love it.
Pass on the Ottawa Senators to me. Give it to me. I'm fine with that. Home ice advantage. It'll be better. Panthers and Lightning all day long. If this team wants to win a cup, they have to be able to beat the Ottawa Senators. That's where I'm just going with that. But it is going to be
Nick,
a wild.
if I can just say,
go ahead. Yep.
If I could just say one thing before I go. So I was so interested to see this game tonight. I'm so glad it went. But I have to say, if anything speaks volumes about how excited I am about the Leafs and their winning the Atlantic Division, not only did I watch oh God, I spit after I say this. I watched and enjoyed the Habs game last night and the result. I even tuned into Habs Digest afterwards because I was so excited. Not that I give a crap about the Habs, but because of the how that helped the Leafs. And so tell your brother he's doing a great job. He's doing it half as good as you are, though, brother.
I agree.
Hope you guys have a great night, and everyone listening in the chat, have a good night, guys. I'm gonna carry on in the chat. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Sounds good. Have a fantastic night, and
Take care.
We'll see you all. And we'll see you, Jim, hopefully on Saturday, but have a great night. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim in the chat. And I'm going to say something else kind of funny. I also tuned into that stream. I wanted to see him be fired up, and it was an interesting.
I heard that he was.
He was fired up. I think YouTube was lagging that night, actually.
Yeah.
He was lagging yesterday, so he was fired up in a bad way because it was lagging, but it all got fixed. Shout out to
Josh and Jesse over there on Habs Digest doing a great job. They cheer for the wrong team, but great people. So shout out to them over there on Habs.
Yeah, they are great people. Team. Yeah, I would love Leafs and Habs. That would be rewind back to our collab stream game one.
Second round. Once the Habs kick out the Washington Capitals.
I could see it. But now we'll get into our 3 stars. The big storyline tomorrow is going to be that injury. That's going to be over the next couple of days. That's going to be the big point. If Jake McCabe is out for any period of time, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Marner for McDavid. It is going to be interesting. All right, Darius, go ahead. Shane, what's up? Shane, we're living life right now. Leafs are rolling. Jays are rolling. It is a
the Jays are rolling.
5-2.
The Jays.
Finally, my prayers have been answered. It is peak.
I think we found out what the problem with the Jays is.
We got to never go to
way.
games ever again.
We just can't be there.
5-0, and we've been there for 2 games. They are 5-0 in the games we haven't been there.
So as long as we just don't show up for the rest of the year, we'll be fine. But third start tonight. I'm gonna give it to Morgan Riley because I honestly don't know how many times he's been in my 3 stars this year. So I think he deserved it tonight. I'm gonna go Morgan Riley.
I go Matthew Knies. Fantastic game-winning goal, which is funny because at the moment we're like, oh, that's good insurance. It won them the game with that goal, so we're going with Kniesy.
Second star, I'm gonna leave a lot of really good players that had good games off the board here. Anthony Stolarz.
I agree. That's also my second star.
Great game. And my first star,
we're gonna have
John Tavares.
Oh, we're not gonna have the same.
Yeah, John Tavares. He's been playing fantastic, so I'm gonna have to go with John Tavares.
My first star is Mitch Marner. Honorable mention Austin Matthews. Honorable mention Chris Tanev. Honorable mention even Brandon Carlo. He had a fantastic game despite this impact scorecard. He had some of the best advanced analytics, which is weird because the impact scorecard can get weird sometimes. Scott Lawton as well. He looks better. Like he's not going to be a guy who's he's not playing bad anymore, which is enjoyable. He almost had a not a goal, but he had a couple of high danger opportunities. It is wild. What's up, Nevin?
I also know a Nevin. I wonder if it's the same Nevin. But yeah, I think that, well, John Tavares has been playing fantastic. Anthony Stolarz, great game tonight. Also, Prophet, I know you're new here. And there's many people who are new. Wait till we have in store, or what we have in store for the playoffs in terms of headgear. I'll just put it that way.
I'm gonna return. I'm gonna make a return of my my patented hat.
I got the hat from last year's playoffs as well, so we're gonna be wearing those.
The cowboy.
That'll be fun.
The cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat. Yeah.
Ruined it a little bit.
The custom.
But you can go back
custom. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic stream, Jim. Thank you very much. Absolutely electric. McCabe got hurt on a this. I have it queued up for you right there at the top of your screen. There, I'll play it one more time for you all. Hopefully, NHL is kind.
He also ran right into the referee after the Knies goal. Yeah. That was right before this as well.
Yeah, so. I don't think that's what got him hurt, but it could have been. Maybe it makes it things.
No, I think it was more so.
Hopefully,
hopefully,
Jake McCabe is good. We need that. It is, yeah, Shay and I.
We need to get you a WCW championship belt to wear with that hat.
It's behind me somewhere. Yeah, literally. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a video for you tomorrow. Probably won't have a McCabe update tomorrow. I doubt they're skating, but probably on Friday we'll have something there. Either way,
I'm sure.
We'll keep you up to date. Everyone is going to be waiting for that. Your support has been unbelievable, and this is just the beginning of what's hopefully going to be a historic playoff run. And it would be fitting in their first full season doing these post-game live streams that the Leafs, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but that the Leafs have a deep run. I can feel the energy. I can feel the energy already. Jim, thank you so much for your donations to everybody. Paul, Blake, Shane, Eric in here as well. Everybody who's in here, Prophet, thank you guys so much. Video for you guys coming tomorrow, and it's going to be an exciting next few weeks. So take it easy, everybody, and enjoy the music that hits that much harder when the Leafs win.
Leafs Digest, your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first puck drop to the season's fold.